the experiment has failed with electric vehicles. They are declining in numbers. People don't want them anymore. They're not fit for purpose. Production is reducing all over the world of electric vehicles. And this is the reason this gives me cheer is this is something that has been pummeled into us on a daily basis for probably 10 years now, that you've got to go electric, you've got to have an electric car, it's the way forward, it's the future. Billions of our tax money have been pumped into electric vehicle stations, creating electric vehicle environments all over the world. This is happening. The elites have been behind it all the time, and despite that, it's not happening.
The main reason why it's not happening, not because there's anything wrong with electric vehicles per se, it's because we didn't allow the market to dictate what they wanted to do. What the government did was, climate emergency. We've been told electric vehicles will solve the problem. So the government then started financially incentivising the market in a way that the market wouldn't have made those decisions themselves.
Correct.
If you'd have left the electric car companies to sort themselves out, they may produce the car people want and would pay full price for. But why would the electric companies produce that when they're being paid and subsidised by national government and making their profit just through tax money being pumped into them? Then you look at the infrastructure we've been paying. Common sense tells you straight away, charging electric vehicles is a huge problem. How do you do it in a terrace street? How do you do it in a flat? You only can do it if you've got a private driveway and then you get a port at the side. It was never going to work, and the main reason was because we had government interference. The government can run nothing. All the problems we've just talked about in our podcast are all because of government failures. And we think suddenly the government can start running the electric vehicle across the world. In our country, we think they can do that. They can't clean the drains in the streets. Most flooding in our country is down to poor drainage because all the grids are blocked up and there's no drainage of rivers and all the sluices and things like that. It's always incompetence. That's why we have flooding in this country most of the time, and we're letting the government start dictating our policy in electric vehicles. The whole thing was bound to collapse. It was another example of pet projects during the good times. Bad times are here now. You know, we can't afford anything, so the government, Labour have just announced they've dropped their 28 billion a year pledge into the green economy, because there's no money anymore now. All these are gone. I always knew this would fall. I always knew once it started affecting people in the pocket, all this would be gone, and we're here now.
And I think you're exactly right. There is a place for electric vehicles. It's not necessarily the main transport, vehicular transport for people, but I think...
It may be, if a company can invent a battery that takes half an hour to charge and it is charged then for 3 months. That company will make billions. But the government keeps interfering, so they won't experiment and try to create what...
There's no real technology going into it.
And there's no input of what customer wants. Businesses always go to a customer, what do you want? What would you buy off me? If I did this to my product, would you buy it? How much would you pay for it? There's no feedback because the government are telling them what the government wants. They're building what the government wants. No one's asked the people what they want.
So it's been forced upon the people. It had a brief blip during COVID for various reasons. Now the reality is sinking home. They're unreliable. They don't work in cold weather. My son went to London from Manchester in an electric vehicle the other day. What should have taken him 3 hours ended up taking him 6 hours. He had to stop twice to charge it. He got home. He was supposed to get home in London at 8 o'clock, got back at midnight. And he was absolutely frazzled and furious about it as well. And I think they're useful for short journeys in particular environments, maybe in cities. So as a kind of an adjunct to a bigger fossil fuel driven car, they're probably a nice add-on. And that's how they should have been started to be developed. But they've immediately been thrown into the main structure and they just haven't worked.
We've turned into a socialist state. And what socialist states do to the people is, this is what we've got, take it or leave it. And that's what they do with electric cars. This is what we've got, there's your choice. Well, what we used to do to people is say, you've got all the choice in the world. You pick what you want and the market will bend to get the money off you to buy it.
Yeah.
And we've not done that because we've turned into a socialist state where elected politicians think they know best. And history tells us all the time, they never know best. The people, you get enough people together in a room, they know best. An individual may be stupid, but the more people you get together, the better the answer. Hence why we have on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's why we have Asked the Audience. The audience is hardly ever wrong.
You're right, actually.
Because
You're
the more
right.
people you get, more brains together, you get better solutions.
Yeah.
If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.